Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Emily LeFevers with the Miami University Alumni Association. I am excited to be joined today by Valerie Carmichael. Dr. Valerie O. Carmichael is the Director of Graduate Admissions and an adjunct assistant professor in the Department of Educational Leadership at Miami University. Valerie has worked in graduate enrollment management for more than 20 years. Her research interests include access to graduate education and diverse student success. Dr. Carmichael earned her master's and doctorate from Miami University in Student Affairs and Higher Education and her undergraduate degree from the University of Cincinnati. Thank you for being here with us today, Valerie.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you, Emily.
Yeah, and just a reminder, live viewers can submit questions throughout the webinar by using the Ask a Question button below the video. So with that being said, we will go ahead and get started.
Thank you. Hello, everyone, and thank you, Emily, for that wonderful introduction. And to share a bit more, to kind of put it to context, where I'm coming from with this presentation is that I am, as she mentioned, a Miami University alum for my undergraduate degree. And then at the graduate level, I actually returned to Miami University as a non-traditional student, but a full-time graduate student to earn my master's degree with a mortgage and a child and all of that going on. So stopped working 12 years later to earn my master's degree. And then somewhat recently, since I've been working here at Miami, started and earned my doctoral degree as a part-time doctoral student working full-time. So I set that context to say kind of when I'm talking through the day, it's going to be a combination of both my role as the Director of Graduate Admission here at Miami, as well as my actual experiences. So let's get started with the presentation. Just a nice photo of Oxford. So today I'm going to talk through kind of why graduate school, what are the options, where do I start? So again, just really thinking about if you're just starting to think about this process, how do I start? What's expected of me as an applicant? The actual application process, and of course, funding, and hoping to get to that final point of an admission offer. So I would encourage you, if you're at all thinking about graduate school, to have some clear professional goals. Of course, many professions require a graduate degree. So you may be thinking about earning a master's or an MBA or a doctoral degree, Ph.D. or an EDD or an educational specialist as the role that you're needing as your career progresses. Also, of course, for career professional advancement or to even become more independent in your role. More education, again, can lead to advancement. Or if you're thinking about actually a pivot in your career, so a pivot as a career change, a graduate degree is a great opportunity to do that. So I would definitely encourage you to really think through your clear professional goals for earning that master's degree, because as I regularly say, graduate school is hard, right? It's managing a lot. So you really should have that in order to help you kind of progress and persist. Also to consider the program type and delivery, whether you're looking at a local institution to enroll part-time or looking to do a national search to stop what you're currently doing and enroll full-time. So again, really looking at that and making the decisions between if you're looking to do it while you're continuing to work or on a full-time basis. And of course, now looking to be whether you're going to be in person, a hybrid, or an entirely online student. So there are a number of options that you should consider and really think about. And so once you've made that decision to continue your education, we'll kind of talk through that. Of course, I have to share the graduate programs that we offer here at Miami. So as you can tell, we provide an array of programs from your arts all the way through your STEM programs. And this is actually a list of all of our graduate programs, whether they're online, hybrid, or face-to-face. So realizing that although, yes, we are an undergraduate-focused institution, we offer 12 doctoral programs and 60-plus master's programs, with some of those being entirely online and others being hybrid. This is a specific list of all of our online programs. So for those students who are looking to add a program while they're continuing their education or looking at doing it full time, but still online, these are the options that we provide. So again, from experience design through our business programs and our recently fully online special education program and newly launched nursing programs. Those actually just started their first cohort this fall semester. So again, you can go to our website, of course, and search and see all of these graduate programs that we offer here. So finding the right program, I would encourage you to really do your research. So if you're a recent alum, you can surely contact your former faculty there, especially if it's in a particular area that you're looking to earn your degree in. They know their discipline. So they can be an absolute valuable resource in finding the right program, the right fit for you. Also looking at academic associations, I've listed here the American Chemical Society, ACS, or ASH, which is the Association for the Study of Higher Education. So doing a search to find the academic associations affiliated with that particular discipline will, of course, they're always advertising because they're looking to earn more students, engage more students and more professionals in their discipline. So that's a way where you can find some programs, especially if you're looking nationwide for full-time programs. And then I would encourage you to visit the local school program website. So of course, we have a number of institutions here in the local area, and then eventually submit, we call it RFI, it's a request for information. Most programs, most institutions will have an opportunity for you to share with them your contact info so they can then invite you to attend an info session, similar to what we're doing today, but specific to a program. So again, you do the research of looking at their website, but again, you can actually speak with someone directly through attending an information session. I would also encourage you, if you're looking to go part-time, to check with your HR on tuition reimbursement, and then graduateschools.com. It's been around forever. It's just a resource for finding particular programs. Again, there's a lot of information there that could help you in that determination, in that search. I would encourage you to think about things such as, what is the accrediting body for your discipline? I know I used to work in an MBA program. You really need to see if the program is accredited by AACSB. You don't want to spend your time and waste your money on a program that is not. So look for that accrediting body and try to find out and make sure that the program you're looking for is a good program. How important is ranking for you? That could be something that you could at least consider, again, especially if you're looking to do a national search, and as well as to really get a better understanding of that program and how that program is viewed across the country. And also think about, what are your next steps? If you're looking now to earn your master's, but you also know you want to continue on to your doctoral degree, then you may be looking for a program, a master's program that offers a thesis track, because that will then help you prepare for writing that dissertation in the long run. So thinking about, what are your next steps? And if it's going back to work, then I know we offer, and other schools may offer, some professional science programs. Our environmental science program is a professional master's program. And so within that program, it actually requires an internship. So if you know you're wanting to go to work afterwards, but you're still looking to do full time, that may be a good option for you then, is to look for a program that is really focused on a profession and launching your career that way. I mentioned earlier in terms of full-time and part-time. So talking about full-time programs, they typically start in the fall each year. That is just the kind of admission cycle that's typical, with applications being due as early as today, December 1st, and all the way through the earlier part of the year for the following fall. I know for our programs, psychology, which we get a ton of application for psychology, their deadline date is today. And so I've seen a ton of emails coming in from frantic students trying to make sure their applications are complete. Of course, you're going to have a pretty efficient time to degree. So for master's, it could be anywhere from really 1 year to 2 years, typically. Some may get into 3 years, especially if you're doing a thesis, but an efficient time to degree, 2 to 3 years, as well as the doctorate being 4 to 5 years. And again, because you're creating knowledge at the doctoral level, that's going to vary. It's not a matter of just taking the courses. You also are going to conduct a study in some way or another and actually create knowledge. So that's where that variation comes. And then I would encourage you to think about and prepare for any required tests. I mentioned here the graduate records exam, but there's others, the GMAT, the LSAT, the MCAT, all of those. Again, mostly they're required for our full-time programs, but they could be required also for a part-time. But I would definitely say and share that standardized tests, as you know, even at the undergraduate level, are kind of in a contested state right now. In that since COVID, many of them have been either optional or not requiring these standardized tests. Some have changed now that we're kind of moving away from COVID, but it's really up to you to look at the program and determine if those standardized tests are required. In terms of part-time and or online, I would let you know, expect a call or an email once you've shown interest. That is kind of the standard now, because again, we recognize that if you're a working professional and wanting to add on and you let us know you're interested, we're going to reach out. We're going to help you along that process of applying. So expect that call or at least an email once you're shown interest in a part-time program. Typically, there are some varied start times, so it may not be just the fall. It may be summer or spring in other areas, and as well an efficient application process. We want to help you apply and get an efficient, short, quick application process. So definitely realizing that, and as well part-time, recognizing that there may be a little more flexibility to continue working, as well as to manage a family if that's something that you're looking for and looking to do. So what's expected of me as an applicant? We as graduate programs expect you to do the research. We really want you to do the research of finding the program, finding out what's required, reading the website, getting information off the website. If after reviewing the information that they share, you still have questions, then you contact the program with those questions. Because again, that will show them that you're committed to this program, at least to the level of really being interested. So you do the research, then you ask them questions afterwards if you have any. Most graduate applications are online, and they're going to have application fees anywhere between $35 to $100+ Some application fees will be waived. So definitely, I would say more so on the online and the kind of part-time programs, they may be waived because they really do want you to, again, submit that application more quickly, but having an expectation that there may be an application fee. As well, you're going to have some supplemental materials. I'll talk through those a bit later, but they're going to vary based on both the program and the institution. As an institution, the graduate school simply requires transcripts and English proficiency tests, but then the programs are able to let us know what they want to capture from the applicant in terms of what they're looking for is what information they need to make an informed decision regarding admission. So those materials may vary based on the program and based on the institution. What are the typical application materials? So again, I mentioned earlier kind of this online application and an application fee. As well, almost for all programs, you're going to need an undergraduate transcript, as well as if you've taken any courses or earned a graduate degree. So anything from the undergraduate degree forward, we're going to want to know about that educational experiences. Personal statement of purpose, any of those items, what's typically required, as well as a resume and or CV, curriculum vitae, letters of recommendation, and as I mentioned earlier, kind of those test scores, which can vary. All of these things can vary based on the program. So let's talk a bit about each of these items. In terms of your undergraduate, and again, any additional transcripts, that's your grade report for any post-secondary institutions. Most programs will accept an unofficial transcript with your application, but that at least means that if you indicated that you earned your degree in 2020, that transcript should show that conferred degree. So we will want to see if you've earned your degree, we want to see that on the transcript. But it could be that transcript that you were sent once you earned your degree. So it's not something coming officially from the school. So that's something that you could actually require an upload. Most programs will require have a minimum grade point average. That minimum undergraduate grade point average can be anything from 2.75 up. Miami requires a minimum of 275, but the program could actually require something higher. So our PA program could say that, we're only going to consider applicants that have a minimum of 3.0. That's fine, but we're requiring a 2.5. And I say there's more flexibility with applicants with professional experience in terms of those GPAs. What the transcript is doing is something, what we're using that for is an indicator for potential success in a graduate program, right? So if you didn't do well during your undergraduate, but you've been out in the workforce for 5 years, 10 years, and you've had some career progression, then that is going to be your potential indicator for success, right? So the flexibility in terms of your undergraduate GPA becomes more and more with some additional experience or something else as an indicator of potential success in that graduate program. Personal statement. Statement of purpose, any of those items, it really is simply an opportunity for you to provide us additional information. Academic interests, goals, relevant experiences to the profession, include what makes you unique. I think about someone who may have a history undergraduate degree, but they're looking to apply to a social work program. Surely, it may make sense to you, right, in terms of how you're going to leverage your knowledge and experiences in history in social work, but this is the opportunity to share that information. So as a program director, as a faculty, we want to have diversity in our classroom. And I say diversity defined broadly with, of course, gender and ethnicity and racial diversity, but also diversity of experiences, diversity of academic backgrounds, because that will make the discussions, that will make the engagement more rich. So this is your opportunity to share any information that you have that really makes you unique to that particular program. But I will stop to say, programs may ask a specific question. If they ask a question, please answer the question. What this may mean is that if you're applying to 4 or 5 programs, you actually may have 4 or 5 personal statements because programs may actually ask a specific question. So that is really just a part of the program. That's a part of what you should expect. I say here to definitely review before submitting because we read the information you share and not too personal. It may be valuable that if you're applying to a chemistry program and you want to do cancer research and you're speaking to that and you're sharing your commitment to this is because a family member had cancer, that's great, right? That is showing how and why you're committed to this field. But say it and then move on and talk about some of these other things. So I would encourage you to not use your entire personal statement talking too personally. But this is a great opportunity. If you didn't do well in your undergraduate, but again, you've had some time since there, and you can speak to it, realizing we're going to see your transcript. So you may as well be upfront about that information. But this is the time to share additional information with in your application. Resume, curriculum vitae, we know what that is, right? List of accomplishments with dates, all of that, include work experience. And again, really think about, and it may be a different one that you would look for work opportunity, really thinking about how you can share your commitment to this field, whatever field it is that you're looking to apply to. So really looking at submitting that resume. Most programs will look for this because again, they want to know what you've been doing since you've earned your undergraduate degree. Letters of recommendation. I would encourage you to think about who can speak to your potential for graduate studies. So again, faculty, if you're a recent graduate, maybe a faculty that you had a year or 2 ago could be a great candidate for a letter of recommendation. If you've been out 10 years, then maybe not as much, right? So maybe it's a supervisor, a peer, a colleague, a client, someone like that who could really speak to your potential in graduate studies, and ask if they can write a strong letter of recommendation. There is nothing worse than getting a lukewarm or a 2-sentence letter of recommendation. You wasted an opportunity, right, for someone to share something valuable about you to your committee. It should include things about your academic success, your commitment to the field, relevant experiences. Programs can ask for from 1 letter to 3 or even 4 letters of recommendation. And how that works, at least on our application, and kind of typical, is that within the actual application, you're asked to enter the contact information for your recommenders. And then your application system actually emails that recommender to request the letter, and then that's automatically added to your application. So again, all within the same, all within the application system. And what I would encourage you to consider is to provide your recommender some information, right? Resume, what do you want them to address? What are they going to contribute to your application packet? It may be your research experience. It may be your commitment to this industry. But share some information with them. It will surely help them out. Let them know how they will submit their letter of recommendation and when the letter is due. Again, you're going to research this information and find out when your application is due. And typically, they want your complete application when they say your application due date. And so giving your recommender 3 to 4 weeks to submit your recommendation is really helpful, right? You want something from them. You can control your information, but when you're asking something of someone else, give them some time so you're not rushing them, and as well, you're not panicking about your application. We mentioned early test scores. So again, standardized test scores, graduate records exam, GMAT, LSAT, MCAT, may or may not be required, varies by program. But again, if they are required, I would encourage you to take the time to prepare for the test before you take it. Most of them are quantitative, verbal information, as well as a writing portion. For the GRE, you can go on their ETS's website for some online test prep. Official scores typically take 2 to 3 weeks, but once you complete the test, typically you're able to get an unofficial score. And that's something that you typically can provide submit to your application, and later for them to get the official score. So just realizing that this is a part of the process, is finding out if you're needing it and allowing time to prepare for those tests. GRE scores are valid for 5 years. Yes, GRE scores are valid for 5 years. That's something that if you're a recent grad, and I tell seniors this all the time, take the test, prepare and take it, and you can put it in the bank for a couple years, as long as you're looking to take the test, enroll in graduate school within 5 years. You can pull that score out and you don't have to prepare. It's a lot easier to prepare for it when you've been in the mode of studying than it is when you've been in the world of the work experience, right? When you've been out working and not in study. So realizing that you have about 5 years for most programs, that's GRE and GMAT, I know, are 5 years. Staying organized. I know I've shared a bunch about all this information, all these materials, and this is really even more so for applicants who are looking to do national searches, where they're looking to apply to 5 or 6 programs. Think about creating a spreadsheet. Simple as that, to capture this application materials. Your headers can be what's required, as well as deadline dates and who you're going to ask for recommenders, and then looking at as well then all the programs you're going to apply to. This will really help you keep this information organized, because again, that it's your responsibility. And I speak to seniors as well when they're finishing up their academic careers, but they're still also applying to graduate school. It's a lot. And realizing, as I mentioned at the end, that deadlines vary. So they can be anywhere from 3 weeks out to months out in terms of for full-time programs. So really think about how you can stay organized in this process. Funding opportunities. I think we're wrapping up a bit. If you're looking to do full-time in person, there's definitely the opportunities for graduate assistantships, GAs, TAs, teaching assistantships, all of those opportunities, but you would have to be full-time and in person. Typically, what a graduate assistantship would cover would provide a tuition waiver and a stipend to help with your cost of living. In exchange, you actually provide what we call service to the program. usually about 18 to 20 hours a week. So again, as a full-time student, you're managing your workload. You're also providing service to the program. And that service could be TAing courses. It could be doing research with a faculty member. It could be some administrative responsibilities. But that service and is kind of in exchange for the tuition waiver. Instead of paying thousands of dollars, you're paying hundreds of dollars because you're still required to pay typically you're required to pay the fees. But again, and then helps with the stipend. If you're not looking to be full-time or in person, you can look for program or discipline specific awards. I know or fellowships even. For us, we offer a team scholarship that's for teachers in the Ohio area, as well as those what they're called teach grants. And you can search for both of those on the Miami website. And I would encourage you also to simply search the site, the institution website, the program site, and do Google searches for awards. They're kind of all over, but they vary based on the program and the type of program you're looking at. And there are actually opportunities for program and discipline specific, even if you're going full time. Definitely complete the FAFSA, but at the graduate level, know that the only opportunity for funding would be federal student loans. And of course, if you're looking to do part-time, check with your employer and see if there's any reimbursement and kind of what that process is and how much you're given. So at least you'll know that up front. And then finally, what we hope to get is the point to where you're provided an offer of opportunity. You're offered admission. Know that most programs, once they've offered an admission, they want you to accept or decline that offer of admission. That lets them know and start planning for and moving forward on preparing your record. So that they know that you're committed to and looking to enroll in their program. So definitely recognizing that you have to accept an offer of admission with most institutions, and really just start preparing your life and your family for your new role. I know when I started my doctoral program, again, I was a working professional, but I added the doctoral program part-time, and everyone in my circle knew that I was a doctoral student and I was doing this. And so what happened is, and what I told them is, keep inviting me to things and I'll be able to pick and choose what I'm able to do. I remember going to a cookout on a Sunday, because for me, Sundays were my real heavy day of from 8 in the morning till 10 at night of working, of doing my schoolwork, but I had to eat. And so I remember going to a cookout, hanging out, eating dinner, and getting back out and getting back to my work. So just realizing and making sure everyone is aware, especially if you're looking to do it part-time and staying within your family and circumstance, but just recognizing that they should know what you're doing, so then they can help you, help them help you, right? And commit to your success, because that you're going to need that support. If you're looking to do a full-time program and you get a full-time admission and you have several, I encourage you to think about those in comparison and really looking at comparing what I'm saying, apples to apples. That's if you're looking to move, cost of living in the area, what type of funding opportunity they're providing, potential advisors. Some programs actually also provide funding towards your health care, your health insurance. So really looking at all of those items and making a commitment. Offers with funding. So again, only offers with funding. So if they're full-time, a program cannot require you to accept an offer before April 15th. That is a nationwide Council of Graduate School kind of for most, I'd say most reputable programs. What that means is, again, some deadline dates are as early as December 1st. You may get an offer in February, but there still may be some offers out there, right? So what that April 15th does is allow you to wait until all of your applications that you've submitted, all of your decisions are in. And so then you can really make an informed decision based on all of your letters of offer letters. And so April 15th is that date if they're offering funding. After that date, they could potentially rescind any offers of funding because they need to set their class. And so after that day, they may move on to their second person or their third person on the wait list. So knowing that is a real deal breaker. And that is what I have today. So I hope that was helpful, and I'm definitely available to answer any questions.
Yeah, so thank you so much for that. That was really informational. So we did have a few questions come in.
Okay.
The first one is, can I register for grad school if I have not gotten my SEO report approved? The committee only meets one time per year. Another caveat is that I am scheduled to graduate in May of 2023, but I am going to have to take summer courses to complete my BIS degree requirements.
Okay, first, I don't know what a SEO, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Bottom line is you have to have earned your degree prior to starting your graduate programs. So we're right now admitting students right now who are scheduled to graduate in May of 2023 or even August of 2023, as long as they're applying to start in the fall. So as long as you're looking to graduate in May or in August, you could apply right now to start a graduate program in August of 2023. What happens is that we give you one semester. Before the end of your first semester, we have to have a final official transcript indicating that you've earned your undergraduate degree. If you cannot provide that, meaning you've not graduated, we will put a hold on your student record, so you will be no longer able to register. So you won't be able to continue your education. But no, we realize that students are applying now, and they're showing unofficial transcripts where we don't even see their fall grades even as well, their spring. So you're fine as long as you're able to graduate, and if not, we will put a hold on your record where you're not able to continue with your graduate studies, because an earned undergraduate degree is a minimum requirement.
Thank you. Next question is, my son is graduating this spring and his career path is still unclear to him. Is it better to gain job experience or to go to grad school to help him determine his career direction?
That is either or. I would encourage, if he has any idea of what he wants to do. I know we do offer a 1 year Master of Science in Management program, and they're actually encouraging individuals that have non-business backgrounds, and they have some experience in terms of some outcomes of students who have been able to launch and really launch that into a career path. And so they're looking for non-business majors to continue with that, and that is actually a 10-month program. So that could be an option, but I would that is really up to the student. He could do both. He could be applying for opportunities as well as, but most programs, they're going to want to know, what are you looking, what outcome do you have? But again, I mentioned this management program because they're really simply preparing you with additional business skills that you can tie into your humanities or other non-business majors, and then progress forward from there. So it really is either or, but I would encourage him to potentially look at that program as one option, as well as looking for employment.
Okay. So two people have kind of asked a similar question, so I'm going to try to put it into one. So Sarah said, I've been thinking about grad school for years, but I'm still somewhat undecided about the program. Is it possible to start taking prerequisite classes to get started and get moving? She said she's guessing the answer is no, because these classes would be dependent upon a specific type of program. And then another person asked, how do you find programs that relate to your specific interest or desired area of study? So are there classes that people can kind of just dip their toes in and see if grad school is for them, or do they need to be completely enrolled and ready to go?
Okay, great. Okay, you can, individuals, and actually I did this before I started my doctoral program. I applied as a non-degree graduate student. It's a quick application. I don't even need a transcript. All you need to do is indicate that you at least have earned an undergraduate degree, $20 application fee, and you can enroll in some courses. You can take 12 hours prior to being admitted into a program, and they can transfer into your program, 12 graduate hours. So if you have an idea, but you're not quite sure if you're really ready for it, what I would encourage you to do is contact the program and reach out to them and see if there's any courses that they will allow you to register and take prior to you being admitted into the program, because it really is up to the program in that they may have their courses locked to where it's only for degree seeking students. But if you're but then others may not be. So it's a great opportunity kind of both ways. And for me, I had been away. I had been outside of my master's degree for, I don't know, a dozen years or half a dozen years at least. And so I took one class, one fall semester, and it was actually the first semester of the doctoral program. I enrolled in one class. By the end of the class, I knew it was something I wanted to do, just because it was such an experience. And so then I applied to the program. I started that fall, but I continued and took another 2-3 classes prior to fall, and all 4 of those classes counted towards my degree, which I officially started in the fall that following year. So that is your option, but I would encourage you to contact the program that you're interested in, at least considering, to see if they have any courses that you could take as a non-degree student. The application that you see on our website, it asks you to indicate what you're doing if you're applying to a graduate degree program, a certificate, or as a non-degree student, and that is where you would apply and submit your application to enroll in the program. You can apply within about 3 weeks of the term as a non-degree student, because it's a really quick application, and we can create a record for you to do that. So that's what I would encourage you to do.
That's really helpful. So the next one is about letters of recommendation. How might I ask someone for a letter of recommendation before I know which schools I want to go to? Is that even a good idea to start before you know where you want to go?
I would say maybe not, because one, you don't even know if they're required, but they should be speaking at least somewhat to what it is. You should be telling them what you're applying to, so then they can write their letter to that area. So I would say wait. And so do the research, as I talked about, kind of doing the research, do the research, narrow it down at least to a couple of programs, see if your letters of recommendation are required, and then approach that individual. Let them know, hey, I'm looking to apply to a graduate program. Do you think you know me well enough and you can provide some information to write a strong letter of recommendation? So it really is as simple as that, but you should be telling them what program you're applying to, and even the institution, so they could even include that in the letter. So they're targeting their letter to a particular program, to a particular institution. So you can surely engage someone and ask them if they'd be wanting to do that, and then really ask them officially, or let them know officially the request is going to come in after you've narrowed down your search and found the program. But I wouldn't request a letter until you have a program that they could actually write it for.
Okay, the next one, you may have answered this next question in your presentation, but I'm going to bring it up again, and you can answer it specific to Miami. What GPA does one need to get a TA or an assistantship of any kind, generally speaking?
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I answered that specifically, and I actually could have. Typically, for programs that offer assistantships, what they're doing is any complete application, there's actually a question on the application, first of all, that asks you, are you interested in being considered for a graduate assistantship? You answer yes. When they're reviewing your application for admission, they're also considering it for funding. It's simple as that. They're competitive. Most doctoral programs, typically 100% of their students, if you're admitted, you're offered funding. It's just the way the application works, and the way the doctoral level works, because you're there for so long, and they need doctoral students to support our undergraduate students, whether it's doing research with their faculty or doing TAing in courses. So again, a complete and that's why all these components of the application are so important, because you're not only applying for admission, but you're also applying for funding. So that's typically, and it's typical for you to get your admission decision, and then soon after get some type of, and it could be an unofficial offer letter in terms of funding, but they want to let you know that they're going to offer you funding. So then you could make that, when we talk about the apples to apples comparison, this is a competitive area. And so they want you to know what they're going to offer, because they anticipate that you may have other options. So.
Okay. Someone said some MBA programs have started to be geared to attend remotely. How can you tell if this will be as effective as attending in person?
Effective is challenging. Yeah, that's a challenging word. I would definitely, as I mentioned earlier, I would check and see if the program is AACSB accredited. That is the kind of business association or accrediting body. So that's the one thing. The other is when you're talking with someone and even at an information session, maybe you could, typically programs would provide some testimonials about their students, but maybe you could ask to talk with someone who's graduated and who did it online. But so it really is just about trying to get a feel for it. But yeah, you're totally right. We offer now our part-time program at the VOA, person to person, but we also offer an online program. And sometimes what they'll do with the online is they'll offer some opportunities for you to come together virtually, some synchronous as opposed to the asynchronous courses. And then I know with our MBA program, it's flexible in that you could potentially start the program online, but if there's a semester that you have more flexibility in your work where you want to, or if it's something that's maybe a little more challenging for you and you may want to take it in person at the VOA, you can do that. And so that could really provide you the option. But this is we're a bit late to the ball game, but I would say that more and more, and we're an example of that, more and more good programs, ranked, accredited, all of that are getting into this arena of online, really to facilitate and to support student success, not only nationwide, right? Because you're able to do it from anywhere, but also just more conveniently to be able to do it there. So that's what I'd encourage you to do, and ask the program directors if they have a way for you to get that information. But I would say maybe ask to talk with someone and see what their experiences are, or there may be receptions or opportunities where you can, panels where they're bringing some of their either current students or alums back, and those can be great opportunities for you to get a better understanding of the student experience during your program.
Nice. It's nice that Miami offers that flexibility with their MBA. I didn't realize that.
Exactly.
So can you talk a little bit about, and this is Miami specific, but about the nursing master's program at Miami and what makes it stand out from other MSN programs?
I thank you, Emily, for providing this question beforehand, because that's not a program. We work with them, but I don't have exactly. But I actually spoke to and reached out to our nursing program, and she shared something with me. Our master's MSN is tailored for working nurses with flexible online scheduling and optional synchronous sessions for those who prefer more face-to-face communication. We arranged clinical placement for all graduate students, taking away the pressure to find your own clinical placement. We also prepare students for certification from the beginning of the program, with testing prep threaded throughout the program. Most importantly, Miami has created the new graduate program with the foundation of the Miami BSN program values and student-centered vision. So that is what I share about the MSN program. And I would encourage you to, again, attend an information session, submit an RFI, to speak directly to Jennifer Rohde, who is the graduate program director for that program, and she could share even more information about our program. We're super excited. We just started our first cohort this semester, this fall semester, and they will be a part of the new health sciences building that will open in early 2023 on campus.
Yeah, thank you for that. So one last question before we wrap up, and you did touch on this in your presentation, but I think it's important just to cover it one more time. How do you balance work, lifestyle, and grad school?
Yes, it's a challenge. I would say the biggest part, again, is finding the time that works for you. For me, it was evening. I would go to work, I'd get home, I'd have dinner, I'd relax, 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock, about 3 or 4 nights a week. I would do my schoolwork, as well as some on Saturdays and literally my waking hours of Sunday. But for others, it was getting up early. It was getting up early and working before kids went to school or before you started your day. But it really is about finding the time and the space for you to commit to your work. As well, for me, I would every day, even if I was off work, I would go to campus and I would go to the library and study and do my work. So the other part of it is even, and I say space, it's finding that opportunity to do your work. Also, and I did mention this earlier, is making sure everyone is aware of what you're doing. So it's not like you're not wanting to be involved in some things. It's you have to make the decision of when it's a good time for you to engage with your family and engage with others, because you need to have that balance, but it just may not be at the same level as it was prior to you being a graduate student. So getting that support around you from your family and friends, and as well, really finding the time and the space for you to do your studies. That also could be a question you could ask of current students, is how much time that they dedicate, or even program directors could potentially provide you with some of that information, a ballpark. For me, it varied based on the semester, based on the course. More writing for me, more writing or more reading, and reading, there's going to be a lot. So just prepare yourself. But really, it's just a matter of managing your time and making sure you have your support system. That's what I would say. Find your support system and make sure you have that. And then before you know it, just like during your undergraduate, you'll be through and you'll be heading to the bookstore to buy your cap and gown. Thank you.
Thank you. That was really helpful. Thank you so much for your time today. It was truly a pleasure to talk to you, and it was really informational. I even learned a lot. And thank you to all of you who tuned in and submitted questions. If you have further questions about grad school or today's presentation, please feel free to reach out to Valerie. Her email is at the bottom of the screen, but you can also find it on the Miami's admissions website. Also, you can check out our other upcoming free webinars at alumlc.org/MiamiOH. That's on the bottom of the screen as well. We have 3 or 4 more for the rest of the year, and we are planning for a packed January as well. So there's a lot to look forward to. Thank you again, Valerie, and thank you again for everyone that tuned in. Have a great rest of your day, and love and honor.
Thank you.